Welcome to another episode of Ken of Comedy. I'm your host, Jerrica Brooks.
And I'm Dante Hill.
I'm Talon Harris.
We have an awesome guest today.
I wrote a little intro in my notes.
He did.
I'm gonna have to read it. You know, I'm new to this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm proud of this though. Our guest tonight is one of the biggest and most talented young stand-ups in New York City. His 2020 stand-up special, Dark Out, was written, performed, and released during the pandemic to critical acclaim. He's since become a marquee performer at the world-famous Comedy Cellar, and most recently, his star has risen. I was real proud of that. His star has risen to even greater heights after the release of his set on Pete Davidson Presents The Best Friends on Netflix. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Neko White to Ken of Comedy, the podcast. I appreciate you sliding, my boy. I was proud of that. I'm starting memorizing,
brother.
Man, for real, I'm honored to be here. And the fact that, Fat Jaw got him to write an intro,
man.
I didn't know that was coming. I didn't know that was coming. I'm flattered.
I didn't know he could read that good, though. Honestly.
He fucked up a little bit. He got the last part.
I was nervous.
Pete Davidson.
I was nervous. I like, people gonna see this.
I wasn't expecting no solid consonants right here. But, man, I appreciate
Neko,
that. I
my
wasn't
dog,
expecting
of course, man. Of course, man. No, I'm glad to have you here, bro. First and foremost, you're actually a personal friend of mine, but I don't get to see you often in person. I haven't really been to any shows of yours lately. Right. So how have you been?
Man, I've been everything, dog. Like, I'm good. Life all right. Life's also lifing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's some shit that should have been handled a long time ago that really needs to be handled, like, in my personal life. You know what I'm saying? Like, the home and shit. So it's like, it should have been handled a long time ago, and it's reached, like, how do I put this? It's reaching, like, the climax of how far that shit can go. You know what I'm saying?
Like, how long you gonna hold this off for?
Not even just hold it off, but, like, deal with that particular thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talking about being on a lease or something like that. That don't take damn near 10 years.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like being fucked with in that regard. So, like, that's annoying. But outside of that, everything else is great.
Good.
You know what I'm saying? I feel good about the stand-up right now. Like,
yeah, you should, man.
Appreciate that. Feel good about life in general right now. And, like, you know, feeling like myself, if that makes sense.
Nice.
You know
Do you feel like since quarantine, like, you've gotten back to, like, a steady norm? Like, with how the scene is and everything?
I mean, yeah, but I feel like we all got, like, 10 years worth of brain, like, disintegration.
Right.
Yeah.
Because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to lie on that like it's...
Yeah. Yeah, I feel
I can never return to that time of, like, knowing what life was like before that.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Or, like, shit just being pulled out from under you out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's facts.
You know, and there's almost not nothing you can do, but, like, for a while until you figure something out, ain't shit you can do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I can't go back to before, you know what I'm saying, before knowing that was a possibility.
Right. Yeah.
I can never
It was a
back to
big
that.
shakeup. I mean, it had to be the same for you because you were doing comedy at that time, like on kind of this level.
I wouldn't say, I don't know. It was.
You started doing the car shows. You talked about this with Julio. So you was with your.
I actually Julio actually went out before me. I was scared to, like, perform. You know what I'm saying? But we did start, like, doing the park shows, Transmitter Park, just like the real, like, just guerrilla style. We'll just pull up with a speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's fly.
And just
I think I
some
saw
people
a
would
little
not
bit
be
of that
with
on
it,
the gram.
and some people would be with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't catch any of that. I was one of the guys that was kind of paranoid about how it was going around because I was around a lot of the deaths. Like, people in my building was dying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, dying.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you see the pictures every night, like, you know, in, like, the hood.
I was watching the graphs.
What?
The graphs of people dying.
Oh, yeah, like on the news. I thought this nigga said I was watching the grass. like you saw, like, bodies
ain't that bad.
Like, they was outside.
I heard graph,
I was
right?
like, Harlem.
You heard graph?
Harlem doing bad. It was in the
Making sure.
grass.
Now you doing bad.
That's me,
Nigga couldn't
man.
read that
That's me, man.
I thought,
It's
what?
cold outside, man. My senses is still coming back.
What
to
the
me.
cold got to do with you? Hey, man.
My senses,
I'm glad
I
to
can't
be
see.
here,
I
y'all.
can't hear.
I'm glad to be here. How long? So when the pandemic hit, how long was it between, like, you doing stand up and, like, seeing a stage?
Damn. If the pandemic happened in March, right? I didn't do any shows until
I think March 13th.
Yeah, something
March
like
13th.
that, right? March 13th.
I think March 13th is
definitely
when
March 13th.
Caroline's closed.
Yeah,
I was
last day of my
I was
job.
serving at Caroline's and
Oh wow! So I was the day when most businesses had to like.
and what's the dude name? Damn.
Manager?
It's the guy who was supposed to headline that weekend. He canceled. It started with him canceling, and then after that, it was just like,
oh no,
we're closed indefinitely.
Yeah.
What's the big dude? He had a podcast. White dude, gay. Not your typically gay guy. Tim Dillon. Tim Dillon.
Not your typically gay guy.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
No, I'm saying because
he wasn't like them regular gays.
He's like
he's
not like a flamboyantly gay man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right wing.
Yeah. So he was supposed to headline that weekend of March 13th, and then he canceled.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was just like worried because it was just that's when the cases just started to rise in New York City, and then.
And they was probably going to do that anyway, though. Probably didn't have too much to do with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like, March 13th, I think March 11th, the Cellar had canceled one, right?
Yeah.
Because people were, like, worried they didn't show up. And then the 13th got an email like, yeah, everything's closed indefinitely.
That's it.
Yeah, that shit was
Yeah,
wicked.
I know that hit everybody
That
crazy.
wicked.
And that was like nationwide, right? It wasn't like just New York. You couldn't really just go out of town and like.
Not in Atlanta, apparently. I don't know.
Well, right.
Oh, yeah.
But
That's how they be making
never
It was
shut
shutting
down.
the whole time.
They was chilling.
How about you? Like, cause what
LA?
you do? No, I mean, like, cause what you do a lot on the like the digital side too. Did pandemic really shut you down in that way?
No, not really.
Like work-wise?
I mean,
That's fine.
not really. At that time, I was working. I had just started working for Sofia Vergara, and I left UTA. But within that, like 3 weeks, I'm like learning the job, and it shut down. She was like, "Okay, don't come back," and I was like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
Like, don't come back to the office. Things were really slow. But we had still like contracts to read and stuff like that, so that kept me busy. But social media, other than that, that was it. It was really, really slow. And then they started letting us go on sets and stuff to do other like brand deals.
Yeah.
But it was about like 5 months before we got like on set. And then they were really strict about like the COVID stuff. So
yeah. I feel like if you did anything in entertainment, that was such a shift in like how you had to figure out how to do your business. You know? 'Cause it really put me at a standstill. I kind of started figuring it out, but like near the end. Because I started realizing a lot of people, because I was like, my biggest strength in doing music is my network. Like I know the places to be, I have the right connections, I know how to talk to people, and I have the content, you know, but not being able to talk to people in a rebuilding phase was weird for me. Then I started seeing it how everybody was using Instagram Live. But this was near the end when like verses started popping and everything. And I feel like every comic, you know, I noticed like that was one of the communities that I kind of noticed in the thing. And like every night, like remember Babbitt would be on like fucking every day, like 2 a.m, and everybody was up at that time. It was like TV shows became like that, and then now I see people like having shows and things that they started during that time that they just kept going from there with networks that they built from like having people on those lives and everything.
Yeah.
As far as ingenuity, comics killed it as far as that was concerned.
Yeah,
Like,
they
for real.
did.
Godfrey went
Godfrey
stupid
was
during
killing
that time.
it.
A lot of his
Remember
a
that.
lot of his podcast following now, I'm sure came from that.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think I've heard him say that.
100%.
Yeah.
Because
Hell yeah.
podcasts and everything went crazy. But like even in general, just see the different ideas pop up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody became whatever their channel is. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Whatever they
That's a
provided,
fact. Yeah.
they try to provide it as
Yeah.
much as possible. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But to what you had asked me, it was probably about 3 or 4 months, something like that. However long it took before they started like doing the park shows and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because we wasn't too far off from like May. You know what I'm saying?
You were doing like
Yeah.
the Zoom shows and stuff.
Oh yeah, I did all that in
You did the
between.
Zoom
Everything stand up that was possible, I did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whether it was on Zoom, whether it was outside in the parks, then they started like, you know, the rooftop shows and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
I was on all of those. But the biggest like shift that I feel like now, you know what I'm saying, is just looking at the scene. You know what I mean? Like, because you had a lot of people like leave, you had a lot of people start, you know what I'm saying? So seeing like that whole thing change. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably the biggest difference. It was about 4 months. And then I got the idea for Dark Out, and then I released Marcellus. You know, and
Marcellus came out after Dark Out?
No, Marcellus came out first. So Marcellus came out, I want to say on my birthday, right? And then I put out Dark Out in December of 2020. And that was inspired by a Lil Wayne documentary.
Oh.
Yeah. I was watching Wayne. He was in I forget which one, but he was
the one where he spilled his lean.
I was gonna say.
Oh my God.
that was worse than stuff.
Oh my God. His wrist went up.
His wrist went up. Right.
Yeah.
That's sign
silly.
number 1. You really fucked your night up with
Right.
That was his most honest moment ever.
Yeah.
Like he was in the studio, right?
Yeah.
And he's just going like with the flow. He don't write his shit or nothing like that, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, why can't I do that for stand up, right? And the first person I reached out to like record it, when I told them the idea, they didn't get it. So I was like, I got something with this shit, right?
Right.
So I had to find somebody. I reached out to the homeless pimp Mike Lavin, and I said, yo, I got an idea. Give me a music studio, one microphone, and I just do, I do the act, and we put that out. And then we got there. We did it on my comedy anniversary of that year. And man, put out in my, like, of course I think this, but like my favorite project I've been a part of.
It's my favorite too.
You know
I was just about to, you already started it off, but I was just about to get into Dark Out because I was going to ask you, at the time that you put it out, the pandemic was still going on. I remember that. And I remember kind of following the process of you promoting it, and it sounded like it was like it personally meant a lot and how you was going into kind of telling people it was coming. Then when it did come out and I checked it out, I thought it was crazy because you can see an art direction in that reminds me of like people like Neil Brennan, right? Where you seem like you had a clear stream of consciousness that you wanted to make clear, right, in an intimate way. And that you knew certain ways to use like certain tonalities and such to make it more like a one-man show. You know what I'm saying? Then what I would feel like I would expect from a stand-up. You know what I mean? And in a way that you could have put out at any time. Because the way that you shot that, that doesn't only work during the pandemic without an audience. So do you feel like what makes you stand out, because you are kind of climbing in a big way right now. This is a long-winded way of coming to it because I'm trying to figure out like how to ask this as I'm saying it.
Shoot.
But do you think that artistically you function at your highest when you're doing more than just the jokes?
It's funny, right? I don't know if I know, like, to what you said earlier. I wish I could say it was deliberate, those things that you mentioned. You know what I'm saying? It was more like, I have this idea, right? I think it's dope. And I couldn't put a set together for Dark Out the whole time. Up until the time that we got there, I couldn't put like pen to pad what jokes I'm gonna do, what topics I'm gonna go into. It was a feeling. I reacted off a feeling, right? So now when we get into the studio, it's about like this size, right? They set up the blackout curtains. They set up. No, I'm lying. So first we do it 2 times, right? And I have a regular microphone, right? Regular microphone. I'm using the space, blah blah blah. Doing
still
it
like the dark room.
No, it's not dark yet, right? I'm still doing it in the style that I do my stand up in, right? It's just me and the cameras and the camera guys. So I do that twice. The first hour is different from the second one, right? I didn't release any of those because when they put up the black curtain and they brought out like some Frank Sinatra style microphone, right? When they put that up, I just started going, right? We captured what that was. That was the best tape out of them all, but it's what you would have gotten in a stand-up show anyway. The audience just wasn't there. You get what I mean? That's how I do my comedy.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So a lot of those stories, like at the end when I'm talking about taking care of my grandma and all that, that was in my stand-up. But because it's just me in the room, I'm reacting to myself almost, right? Yeah. So if I was mad about something, I seem really angry about something. Like you can feel how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
So that's what Dark Out.
So I asked that, right? Like I asked that question in the way that I was. Your answer is really good for what I mean, because I wonder if other people who are independent in their fields understand how much they can rely on their own creativity to kind of serve the purpose of making their content stand out in that way. Right. You know what I mean? Because I know a lot of people who feel like they need to have, like, they can't do this without a publicist. They need like a professional person to kind of do the direction of their video. You know what I mean? They need somebody else to walk them through how to like line these aspects out. But there's a lot of this stuff that you can come up with an idea creatively that you could commission somebody to work in. You know what I'm saying? That you could line up and you can make like really dope art. You know what I mean? Because I just know a lot of people didn't think of anything outside of just going to shows that were already happening. You know what I mean?
Fair, but like
I didn't really see too much content like that. Like I don't know anybody else that put out any type of special in that way. I know people were like trying jokes. I liked what Deion Cole was doing. Like reading jokes and just saying, like, I like that. And then he incorporated that into the joint that he just put out. Yeah, I saw it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure out how to word it, but it was just
Nah,
really dope shit, man.
No, I'm just waiting for
like,
you to. I get what you say. I'm waiting for you to stop talking.
Yeah.
So I start.
Yeah, dog. Word.
I'm right there
Take
with
it,
you.
man.
So to that, right? It was more of like I can't say I didn't have any help. You know what I'm saying? Like with Dark Out, when I reached out to Mike Lavin, he agreed to do it. You get what I'm saying? Like I found somebody that believed in this little crazy idea, right? Then
So it's Dark Out is essentially you doing stand up.
Yeah.
As you would on stage, except no audience.
Yeah, but it's a lot of feeling in it. You get what I'm saying? Like it's deep. And
So
like if you know my act, right? Yeah. Sometimes you might walk away thinking you don't know too much about me. If you sit and you watch Dark Out, you'll learn a hell of a lot about me. Right?
Yeah.
And it shows the evolution of my work. Like if you watch Introducing Me, I put that out when I was 21, right? That's 2000. We recorded in 2014. You go watch that. You go listen to Marcellus, then you go watch Dark Out, right? You can see A, how I've grown, but B, how my style, whatever that is, how Neko White's comedic style has evolved. Dark Out is the long version, at least at that time, of my creativity at that time. You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
Okay.
As comedians, we thrive off the laughter. How did you find like?
Oh, the rhythm, like to do it.
Yeah. Like, how do you know that?
Yeah, there's nobody there.
Like,
so now training comes into play with that, right? So I started when I was really young. Started when I was 14, right? So there would be times where when we didn't have shows at like Laugh Lounge, right? It wasn't insane to me to just go on stage and try my jokes out with nobody there, just so I could get the timing right? I would do that at like 14, 15, 16. When this happened, and it's like all this shit was happening in the news, everything was happening, you know, in life. So I was like, man, I want to say this shit. You know what I mean? They had no way to say it. Doing it that way, that was legal, wouldn't get no trouble, and could put something dope out. And it's that part of it too, where it's like, I'm confident in what I do as far as like that's concerned. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I do the work, I do it enough to be, you know, and it was my 13-year comedy anniversary, and the fucking Netflix joint that you mentioned got canceled. That's why I remembered March 13th, nigga, because it was we was like 21 days out from recording that shit, right?
Oh, that's fire.
So now, fuck fire, nigga.
Life
was on fire. The way it worked out was great, and
that's a blessing.
The way it ended up working out was crazy. But I'm saying, like,
initially,
I had all that on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you planned your year, you know what I'm saying? Have whatever you got coming up, pay your taxes, you know what I'm saying? Then on your makeup week of your bread, whole calendar on fire. Right? So then to get back after that, right? It still stay sharp, you know what I mean? All that shit. And have that idea. Yeah, that's what that was. It was my response to all of that shit. You know, and I had some help. Like I said, the owners of New York Comedy Club, Scott and Emilio, they have a studio out in Long Island City, and it was like, you could do it here. So I had location, I had people with the cameras that could do it, and we put out a dope product. And the other beauty of it is it don't got the most views, but I swear to God, if you watch it, it do what it's supposed to do.
And the right people fuck with it, man. A lot of y'all
watch it, you'll do it.
A lot of the right people fuck with it. I remember when it came out, I remember seeing a lot of the people that were speaking about it were people who I do have a great deal of respect for their opinion on comedy. You know what I mean? So yeah. But you are one of those guys. I mean, like the places that you're in now. I mean, even being on that, like being on that special, and you have a relationship with Peter Course, but outside of that, if you couldn't hold your own, you wouldn't be on there.
Oh no, 100%.
You know what I mean? And even just being in the position you're at the Cellar now. You know what I mean?
Well,
so,
not even just there, and that's no disrespect to that place. I love that place, but it's like
talk your shit.
Everywhere, you know what I'm saying?
Should I get a crazy everywhere?
Nah, go crazy,
but
bro.
It's not even that, but like I earned that.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
Get what I'm saying?
Of course.
I was a baby when it came in.
Yeah.
From an open micer to I'm my own headliner. Yeah. Ain't no manager.
And you
had
to speak that way, or else other people won't. I remember I watched a few of your other interviews where you kind of talked about, like, you know, coming in at the age that you did and just how much you guys got a little broke. And even just watching my pops.
Or tried to.
Yeah.
People would see, that's the thing too, is like people would try it more than I ever allowed it to happen.
Okay.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? I always took it very seriously how much of a professional I was. You know what I'm saying? And I understood my position. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was, you start out, you're the young comic, right? Then you start out doing shows, you 3 minutes, right? Then you move a little more, you a working young comic, right?
Yeah.
Then you're professional. I know when I got to my steps, right? Some faster than others, you know what I'm saying? Some took a little longer, some things came quick, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, however the facts may be, I support myself and my people.
No, of
All
course.
of this and that's, but no, hear me out. And that's been the case for a while. Before a particular place, that was the case. You know what I'm saying? Just to say like, I really do this.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean?
But I mean, the proof's in the pudding, man. Like I'm saying, like the work is out there and the respect the appears. And this isn't a community that easily gives that out.
Right.
I mean, that's all I'm saying. There are just certain spaces. Like when I talk about the sellers so much, I bring that up because I know that the general consumer holds that within a certain regard. If you exist in the community of comedy, or if you know of it, you know a lot of underground places that are very important toward the integrity of building up your work.
100.
You know what I'm saying? Communities that people inside know how to move in.
We never got to explain. That's the crown jewel of New York comedy, right?
Yeah. But just for people watching, because I know a lot of times, like when we do record these episodes, we just kind of try to articulate some of these points for people that don't understand the weight of some,
what I'm saying,
some
right?
of it.
You can't forget the other places.
No, of course.
Like for me, the Sellers, the spot I got past that last.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Already.
What was the first club you got past that?
First club, damn. Laugh Lounge. Laugh Lounge was the first one. That was 2000.
How old were you?
I was 16, 15, 16. Laugh Lounge. Stand Up New York Carolines.
R.I.P.
Eastville, yeah, right. Oh, man, it hurts. That shit hurt bad.
That hurts?
Yeah, man. Love that spot.
That's how I met you at.
Yeah, one of my favorite
there every
places.
week.
Yep.
Every week I saw you. Like every Monday, every Sunday, something like that.
Every Monday, every other Monday, Sunday, yeah.
At least. It might be another day.
Broadway. Almost forgot about Broadway. Broadway had New York Comedy Club back then, the regular Broadway Comedy Club in the upstairs room. Damn, I can't remember them all in order, but like started in the lower east side, like as far as like getting the clubs and all that, getting that work. And we had hella rooms back then. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then in Times Square, you had like 2 or 3 clubs that like were actually huge. Because you had Caroline's on 49th, then you had Times Square Arts Center on 42nd and like 8th, where the I don't know if it's still a haunted house, but where that shit was.
A haunted house.
Yeah.
I don't remember no haunted house.
On 42nd and
I think I've driven past it.
Yeah, it was called Times Square. I don't know if it's still called.
That name sounds familiar.
That's there.
That name sounds
familiar. Yeah.
It's still there?
Yeah.
There's a haunted house over there?
Yeah, man.
The name Times Square sounds familiar.
It sounds like a great name.
I'm telling you.
Never been there.
My son really got an old soul because we're both older than him.
Yeah.
Neko talk like an old nigga too.
But it's like
I was raised by old people.
Comedically.
I was raised by old people.
When's your birthday?
Man. That's how it goes.
Oh, you're Taurus? Interesting.
You?
I'm a Libra. I'm 29 too.
Oh, wow.
I just turned 29.
Nice.
Yeah.
Balance, right?
Balance.
Yep.
Always.
Motherfuckers crazy.
Oh my God.
Huh? How you just throw that in there? Wait a minute.
The way you said it.
Well, I want to take it back a little bit. And I know that this year's your 15-year anniversary of being a comic, right? Take us back. How did you start? When was the first time you're like, I really do want to do comedy?
Got you.
Take us down like memory lane a little bit, and how exciting it is. For 15 years is a long time.
Yeah,
it's like a big deal.
Crazy. 9/14/07, right? First day of high school. So we go through the day. We had orientation before. We go through the day. I meet a kid that sounds just like me, right? So now when I meet him, he's funnier than I am.
Oh no!
And that was always kind of like my thing. I was never class clown, none of that. But you know,
He was
I was
always a
home
funny
on.
kid.
Right.
Yeah.
So now there's this girl named Crystal. We talk, and it's like me, Rod, her, and somebody I went to middle school with, right? So we're going in the circle. Everything he's saying getting a huge reaction out of it, right?
Oh no!
Everything I'm saying is bombing, right? So I'm like, yo,
Crystal.
Yo, I'm like, how
Damn.
this is just a story. I'm not saying it's because of her, but you know how the day worked out. So now I'm saying that I'm like, yo, high school gonna suck, man. High school gonna be trash, right? So now we get to the end of the day. Miss Richardson, she asked, does anybody have a talent? This girl named Esther went up. She sung a song. I'm sitting there and I'm like, something in my head was like, go tell jokes.
Mm-hmm.
I raised my hand. She let me go up. I tried it and it worked.
Yeah.
Because it worked, we had advisory last period 3 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
She let me go up for the last 5 minutes.
Did you write actual jokes down? Or you just got up there and like
After a
freestyle?
while, I just
Okay.
got up there and like went through the day.
Oh, okay.
And then talked about like white people at the end. You know. And then,
That'll get him.
That'll get him. That'll always work.
that's what got him.
That'll always work.
And
you said one of
was
your
you-
mans was stealing Chappelle jokes?
No. Well, it's like nigga was like 14, bro.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was
So
all
it's
he
like-
had. That's what he was doing.
what-
But you was writing though. You was
I
14.
was.
You was
Yeah.
Oh
writing.
my god.
But you gotta remember, right? I'm doing comedy,
Yeah.
Right.
right? So like
Yeah.
that was the difference. Like I was
Mhm.
doing
Yeah.
comedy.
That's what I'm
And
highlighting. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, but that'll do it. That'll be the difference. Because
Well, yeah.
because you could say that, and then he could also say that he wants to be a comedian or say that he wants to do comedy because he feels like he's funny in school too.
Mhm.
But if he's not putting in the work,
Mhm.
you're not gonna get there.
Mm-hmm.
You were actually writing your own shit. He just wanted to be funny and entertain. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I just
that's the
mean,
goal. That's my best friend. Like
Yeah, no, there's nothing
So-
disrespectful about that. I just mean in the pursuit of things.
Would
Yeah,
you
I feel
would you say that
That's
that
all.
was like he was probably like more of like a raw talent, like just a naturally funny person, and then you were
That happens a lot.
you the one that like
I just tried it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just tried it and kept doing it.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like once I found it,
Yeah.
I found it. I was locked
Yeah.
in. I
Mhm.
didn't need nothing else. Whatever that feeling was,
Right.
I really
And you
Love
did it every day, you said.
3
Every
days
day.
3 days a week.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So that was
Yeah.
our schedule at
From
first.
14?
From 14.
That's
on.
what I'm
That's
saying. But that's
discipline.
just not normal. Because I feel like you're
know.
normalizing a lot of it. Like, yeah, it's just as simple. But it's really not that simple. You know,
Right,
that's
right,
that's a
right.
lot of
14 years old.
constructed and consistent work. And a lot of these ideas that you're saying, yeah, you know, there's a lot of other factors, other people, you know, other people. He's good too. But they're not doing what you're doing. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I just feel like that's a testament to years of work. You know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah.
what are
You know
you
what I'm saying?
talking about
It's real shit.
at 14 years
He
old?
said he walked
What-
his day.
White
So-
people.
He walked his day, ended it with white people.
Well, you gotta remember, right? I got a family, I got all that other
Yeah.
stuff, and then
Oh.
like just from watching stand up, you could see certain mechanics. Like
Yeah.
have a little about your family, have a little about this,
Mhm.
and every comedian I
Smart.
like had a little bit of heart.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Katt
Yeah.
was my first favorite comedian, and
Oh,
to this
wow.
day,
Is
one of
he
my
still?
favorite comedians. Fuck
Yeah.
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
top 5.
Yeah.
Top
We had a
five.
big
Yeah.
argument
I'd be
about that
I'd be
one
played
day,
with
I
either.
remember.
We'll get to that
Yeah,
towards the end, but yeah.
but you know, that was always a part of it. I got a
Yeah.
funny family. You know what I'm saying? My pop's is hilarious. My mom's the best storyteller I ever met.
Mhm.
So like certain things you pick up easy, and then again
Yeah.
you try it. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You take it to different places. It started in school, that went to talent shows, from talent shows to
Mhm.
school, talent shows, and a show that we would do at lunch, right?
Yeah.
That went from all that to you add in the open mics, then you add in the rooms, then you
Mhm.
add in the
You
comedy
went to school in
clubs.
Harlem?
No, I went to school in the Bronx.
In the Bronx?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. So
Yo,
I mix
having
cultures
that-
a lot.
Even having access to like be able to perform in school like that so frequently,
Right.
because I don't know no schools
Yeah.
that was
That-
doing that. That's why I'm
yeah.
asking like where you went to
Where'd
school
you
at.
go?
Oh, shout out to Bronx High School for writing and communication arts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Well, there you
making
go.
stars.
That's why.
Waka.
Making stars using that time
Right.
productively,
Yeah.
right?
Like that's that.
That's crazy.
And they had we had like this theater thing in our school, the Epic Theater Ensemble. I hope they
Oh,
still
there you
around
go.
too. Yeah. Shout out
Yeah,
Ron
that
Russell
makes
and all
sense.
them. Yep.
That's
No, that's
nice.
fire, though.
Yeah. So like, and it gave me my confidence before I came into like
Mhm.
the open mic scene of comedy.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm glad for that because
Yeah.
it's like at least then it was like, well, I know I'm at least funny. You know what I'm saying? You can't lie to me about that
Yeah.
part. And that
Mhm.
was always important to me, like the parts you can't lie to me about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
See, even things like perceiving things in that way, that's not normal, dog.
mhm.
I don't know if you realize that. You're a smart guy, man. I feel like that's
Right,
part of why
thank
I've
you.
always kind of enjoyed chopping it up with you. I feel like we argue about everything, but
Yeah.
I always enjoy the
You
dialogue.
you get to talk. You know what
Oh
I'm saying?
man, I'm a talker,
I'm
bro.
in.
I'm a
Yes.
talker. I'm
fucking
an articulate
cry.
individual,
Okay.
man. I can, gotta make my
Love him
shit
for
clear.
it.
But I feel like,
Chatty
I
Patty.
feel like you just you did great, son. Yo, I hate you, dog. Yo, all right, let me
Yo,
say
I'm
this.
so glad we don't
We
have
s-
headphones.
we
We can't
smoke-
hear that shit.
Yo, if we put
Yo,
him on the
we
clock.
smoked right before we came in here.
Facts.
We smoked right before we came
I'm
in.
always here.
So I'm trying to like,
Just
so
waiting.
Talent be over there. He be
Just
he be
waiting.
kicking it. He be letting it all sit in. I'll be trying to talk and get this shit out, and I'll be a little
He-
stumbly sometimes. And Nico's just not
It's
letting me get it off
making
today.
it work though. It's okay.
I don't like it.
I think you get the
Love
job
these
done,
guys.
bro. bro.
No, you do.
I
I mean,
so,
it's like
gotta
it's
expect
a
this
show.
over here.
Me and Talent are just it.
You gotta. This is how this shit gonna be. I hate this nigga.
Right. Love
Hey,
you.
man, we love you.
He
man.
keeping it real though. This shit's hilarious. He's like, he could go.
Yeah, I could go.
Look
Nah,
at
yo,
go.
he said we argue all the time. I'm like, nah, bro. Every time I see
We
you,
do, bro.
I'm happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you
Y'all
too.
be
Know what I'm
arguing?
saying?
What y'all be
Like that
arguing about?
like that Katt Williams shit.
What?
I remember. So
you
Lil
say that
Wayne.
then?
Oh, he act like he don't know what I'm talking about. We argue about Lil Wayne all the
rap
time.
shit. Yeah,
all the
yeah,
time.
Your
And the Katt
opinions are
Williams
bad.
shit.
I've seen
my opinions
Dante
are bad.
argue
My
so
opinions
intensely. But he's
are
like,
bad.
I
I'm a
love him.
passionate
We just
individual.
talking
Yo, his
intensely.
opinions
Yeah.
are trash.
I'm a passionate
This
individual.
nigga, yo,
what's
he gonna
the
look me in
debate?
my face and tell me
Wait, what?
Eminem, yo, is
Uh-oh.
like, and I don't even care if you like him. I love him. I love him. Top 10
Now, let's
ever.
do it.
This nigga gonna tell me he greater than Lil Wayne. Get out
I
of my
didn't say
face,
that.
man.
I
You
did not
said
say
that.
I
Get out
didn't
of
say
my
that.
face, man.
I ain't say
wanna hear
that.
all
I ain't
shit,
say
man.
that. He's taking away so much nuance from the conversation. I never said that.
Sum it up in
He
5
said
words.
that.
Nah, give him 40.
Nah.
Let me get 40 words.
Nah.
Count.
What
I
am
need
I
a
summing
counter
up?
when we edit
What am I
this clip.
summing up?
What you said?
What you said to
About
him.
No,
Lil
no,
Wayne
wait,
and
wait,
Ross
but I
Taylor.
don't know what
was the
we're
argument?
saying. The
He said
argument.
Lil Wayne was.
Nigga,
No,
said,
no,
you
we've
know,
had-
brought this
We
up.
never had one specific
That's your
conversation.
friend.
I can't remember too many individual
That's your
ones
friend.
off top. I would have to check our DMs.
Okay.
But I remember one conversation was that Eminem was just garbage, period.
No, never.
Yes, you did. I'll show you. I'll pull it up. I got
please.
receipts. I'll pull it
I
up.
need to see where I
I'll put it
said
up.
M is
And
And I
garbage.
remember we was talking about.
Even in the intro, I said M.
This is on
Top
the DM?
10.
This is in DMs. Let me pull
Yeah.
it up.
Arguing
Let
over
me see if
DM
I
is
got it.
crazy.
Let's see
That's
if I
bad
got it.
when it's like, nah, bro.
Nah,
I'ma
bro.
tell you.
I'm
Nah,
telling you,
actually.
bro. Now, remember when I walked in here, he started snitching on y'all?
Yo,
Wait a minute.
Who was I snitching on?
What you say? You talking
I hate
shit?
this
the
nigga.
pre production.
What he say?
He talking about what I was talking about talent with the
Oh,
joint.
the
Now he's trying to get me to do it again.
I'm trying to get you. Yeah.
He's trying to get me
I'm
to do
trying
it
to get
again.
you.
You know?
But no, he
don't
said
got
something
it on
along the
here.
lines of
This
like
is the new grade.
Wayne wasn't in the like class that Wayne's supposed to be in, right?
Okay.
Like I think I said top 5. You said something along the lines like, nah, that's crazy.
Mm-mm.
And then
No, I didn't.
it was
You
M
exaggerated
and
all this
Wayne,
shit.
and he was trying to tell me that M is so much better than Wayne. It's
No, I
not
didn't.
True.
No, I didn't, because I don't feel like that. When I was younger, now depending on when we had the convo, when I was younger,
Depending on
and
when we had the
I rap myself, so I get passionate about anything I fuck with. And I fuck with comedy heavy, and I fuck with music heavy.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, M was my favorite. But I just love what
Right.
M did with words. That was like a really shallow way, I guess, to consume
Same.
music at a point. And I still think he's great.
Oh,
but he's
I
not
think
what he
I
was,
remember
and his
now.
longevity
So
isn't
now you
good.
are.
I think he's gotten
you
worse
are.
with time.
Okay.
I think he's
It
gotten
was a
worse with
song
time.
that they were on.
Forever.
It
That was
Forever.
one conversation we was
Yep.
DMing
then,
about.
And then it was No Love. It was Forever and No Love.
Okay.
Because you said M smashed everybody on that shit. I still don't think
I
so.
think on Forever, yeah. I think
Sure.
on Forever he got Wayne for sure.
But
I think he got Wayne on Forever for sure.
Okay, cool,
I think
but-
that's pretty universally agreed on. You can have your opinion on that, but I'm
Y'all
not
all
wild.
a bunch of hoes for believing that. It, all in.
What do you think? You know that song?
Crazy.
What?
Forever. Remember that Drake,
Drake?
Kanye, Eminem,
Yeah.
and Lil Wayne song?
Oh,
M
You remember that
that's a
shit?
good
But,
song.
like,
Niggas,
Did-
I
I don't
did
think
a
it was
good
the
job.
best M. You know what
It
it
don't
was?
gotta be though. But am I bugging for thinking he had the best verse?
It
on
was
that?
a
Over
little bit more
everybody
hype
else.
because we haven't heard
We
from
hadn't
M.
heard from
Yeah.
him in a while,
Yeah,
but
that's
like, look,
fair.
So
That's
it's like we
fair.
want to
No,
like
that's
it.
fair.
I'm right there with
That's
you.
that's
right?
that is
we
fair,
here
but that's
now,
part of
and
it.
we hearing it.
But then that led
Yeah.
into like, I'm not afraid. And that was a very weird
But it
era.
doesn't take away from the impact of that individual song,
my
right?
God.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what we talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
So him saying, I said, oh, Eminem smashed that nigga Wayne. Like, this nigga is
what
a
you
liar.
said,
He is a
man.
liar. Don't
Yo,
book this
the-
nigga.
This interview flipped.
He a
Oh,
liar.
what's going on?
Now we still.
He's
fam.
our guest.
good.
Yo, he's a
Nah,
liar. He's
But
a liar.
that Wayne combo, I feel like we don't know. Y'all miss you. We have this combo like once a year.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
yeah. Your
almost
opinion should
like
suck,
an
though.
anniversary. Nah, bro.
Your
This
opinion-
Dang,
nigga
a
is
guest on
crazy,
our
bro.
show.
Wayne is incredible.
We're
Don't let this
dragging
nigga
you.
make y'all
Drag
think I don't
each
fuck
other.
with Wayne.
Nah, this family right here.
Yeah.
I
Nah,
only
Nico's
talk
my
to
guy,
family
man.
right here.
Long
But
time.
again, his opinions are garbage.
This
Boo-boo.
nigga
You
is
said we-
crazy,
you
bro.
said we
And
had
I remember we had a Katt
little
Williams conversation
yelling.
at Caroline's on the staircase. This nigga did not let me leave. I remember.
Yeah.
And it was about his pimping,
That's right.
pimping, and just
classic.
and just how Katt Williams is the best comedian that ever walked the earth.
You
Not
said
to
that.
ever walk the
entitled-
earth,
said that.
but
That's how you felt at that
top
time.
five.
Yeah.
And you
Chronicler
articulated well. I've heard you
Yeah.
talk about it in other platforms.
Yeah.
You're entitled to that opinion.
Yeah.
I simply disagree. But he did
Yeah.
not want to let me go. But
Yeah,
why,
right.
Stapleton?
Let me ask y'all
That's
something.
what
Y'all
you
know
said.
him, right?
Or Zippers?
Y'all know him, right?
Uh-huh.
Question. Y'all think that convo went that simply?
No, I know he went back and forth.
Hell yeah, no, I enjoy it.
I took this
enjoy
nigga
it.
the last
Only
lap,
that.
and him and his friends were in the back yelling. I'm like this. It looked like they about to fight. I'm like,
Right,
security
right,
about to
right.
walk
you
by.
was there.
He was there too.
No.
Oh,
I
you
was
didn't
there.
know?
He was
No,
hiding.
he wasn't there.
He
I was
wasn't
there.
telling it.
No, we went after that
Yeah,
first
this was
episode. We
after
went to
the
the
first
last
shooting.
lap, and him and his friends started getting passionate about something.
Yep.
It was
And
real
we
shit.
sitting at the bar. I'm trying to eat, and they
You
like,
thinking something happening.
Yeah.
Everybody in the club like,
Yeah.
like they yelling at each other.
So look,
That's
when
how
I
passionate
real
he get.
shit.
when I
That
first
was
met
about real
Stapleton,
shit.
right? It's Caroline's, right?
Mhm.
So
I
now
remember when
we
we first
finished
met.
the show,
Mhm.
and everybody about to leave. This nigga had on this like Michael Jackson jacket, right?
Sounds like him.
But with extra zippers.
Wow.
Oh,
You
that
know
sounds
what I
like
mean?
you.
I
I
feel like I know the jacket.
Like
That's how I'm like it sounds
7
like
to
you.
8. You know what I'm saying? And
7 or
then
8 zippers.
It was
and
a
then
fly-ass
walked out
jacket.
and was like not talking shit,
I
but
still
like,
got
and
that
you know he
jacket.
got like the drill sergeant voice. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So he's talking to me,
The drill
but I
sergeant
felt like
voice.
I was a cadet or some shit. So from one point I go, man, what's all them goddamn zippers, man?
You said that.
He was like, nah, man, you know,
Nah, man.
it's fashion.
I did not say it's fashion. Yo, I hate the nigga I am
Something
in this
along the
nigga's
lines
head.
of that.
It's fashion. Don't make that.
What would he say? If you
You
did,
gonna-
what would you say
like
if
you
you didn't
gonna
say
let
Said
that?
him
some
say
though?
that.
bullshit
It's
along
fashion.
those lines. Yo.
Nah, I probably said I'm just a fly nigga.
That makes sense.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's damn near
That
the
makes
same
sense.
goddamn
It
thing.
is
nigga.
kind of the same thing.
I'm just a fly
Man, I'm
Exactly.
happy to be here, y'all.
Oh
Man, I
What
like
we
my
talking about?
zippers,
You asked
man.
the
my
Sorry,
god.
so-
Yeah.
So now, once I started doing it in the comedy clubs,
Mhm.
right? There was a comic, shout out to Lily Fitzgerald. He would take me around to like the rooms and stuff,
Mhm.
right? So just cutting my teeth like that and getting to learn what it was like to appreciate an audience, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
what it was like, you know, to have to work your way up through the ranks that we have presented to us, right? On both sides of the aisle, like comedy clubs and the rooms where you take your own rates and all that stuff. Like I
Okay.
learned all that stuff early,
Mhm.
you know, and then trying to apply that and evolve that. And here we are, how many years later?
When you were
love
younger,
it.
did you ever do any shows with Isaiah Kelly?
Yeah. Yeah, because Isaiah was
Oh.
Isaiah was one
He's
of
only
like
2 years
two other
older than you.
people that were about as young as I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
You know what I'm
he's
saying?
y'all age. No.
I was wondering that. I meant to ask you that
older
for a while because me and
He's-
Isaiah used to
I
go to
think he's
school
my
together.
age.
So like,
Okay.
and
Oh,
his
word.
pops used to tour with
But
my
he started
pops.
when he
and
was
came
like
up with this. Yeah,
14,
Yeah.
Mhm.
a little younger.
word. But I've never seen y'all together or really heard one really referenced.
It didn't get it. Nah, man. He's hilarious. First of all,
Yeah, nah, he is.
You know what I'm saying?
he's
Love
He's
it.
hilarious. Has always been. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And you know, as people rise, you know what I'm saying? He stayed as dope as he's always been and only gotten better. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
much respect. But now we worked together a couple times. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, last time I saw him, I was at Salsa Con Fuego.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That
yeah,
wasn't the last
yeah.
time I saw him, but last time we was like,
Yeah,
you
he's
know,
done that room a few times.
on the
Yeah,
joint
over there.
together. But yeah, it happened more back then, but like you gotta remember social media and all that stuff was newer.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what
of
I'm
course.
saying? Like everything didn't get posted. But
Yeah.
yeah, he was one of the few that was around my age around that time. You know,
Yeah.
and he had been doing it
Mhm.
by the time I
Right.
started. So
Yeah.
So full-time gig is stand-up comedy, right?
yeah.
So you started at 14. When did that become like from 14
Swear
to
to God, I ain't never done
you
that.
never had a day job?
That's
That's crazy.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh,
Put in
I
the
love
mud.
that. They want to all counter for me because
Yeah,
I say
Jerrica's
all
like
out and
Oprah on
everybody's
this
Yeah.
shit.
I'm
Nah,
like
I'll take
Oprah.
it.
She's like the pull-up dude. Like
Yeah,
Yeah, in the apology.
Hey, you gotta appreciate the people that appreciate shit. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
They laugh at me a lot, but
Ah,
it gives a
damn.
little bit of sentimentalness to it.
to the show.
To the
and,
pod.
and after everything we've been through thus
Right,
far,
right.
I think we deserve a little bit of
A
that.
little softness.
last episode, it was like we got to get an on counter. Like,
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
like,
'Cause I said
it was a
aw
lot
a
of
lot.
those.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
for when
yeah.
Julio was just like telling his story.
And I'm
Yeah.
just so like, oh my God. Oh.
One thing I remember I saw you say about
love
that,
it.
when you say that you never worked a regular job, was one thing that put into you is the idea that this has to work, that you can't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
like a backup.
Yeah, well,
So fire.
I always thought about that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I saw my older brother, he was in school, you know, for a while.
Mhm.
And I ain't gonna lie to you, I never really wanted to go to college.
Okay.
Once I heard you could be in debt like that,
It ain't
Yeah.
for everybody.
It's
I
not
was
for everybody, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
You know, and then again,
Also,
I found
if you
something.
know what you know what you want to do. People
Right.
go to
That's
college
what
to
it is.
figure out
Yeah.
what
Right.
they
Figure out
want
what
to
they want
do.
to do. Yeah.
Right.
In some ways, it's just an outdated concept. Yeah. A lot of the information you could get out of school, you have access to on your own too.
Honestly, there's no reason to go to school unless you're trying to be something where you need the certification, like you doctor, you know, something that they're not going to
specifically.
They're not going to let you just like learn on YouTube to do heart surgery.
And I didn't want to waste anybody's time. You know what I'm saying? Like, but having said that, I found something that I really love doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nice. And I think that's the difference. You know what I mean? I got to get in when I got in. I learned to appreciate it really quick. And, you know, my relationship with it is still good.
Do you feel like you have any anxiety or anything through that? Because I feel like when you don't have anything else, like
I'm
if
human,
you don't have
bro.
a backup,
I definitely got that.
How do you handle that? Or like when are the moments where you feel that? Like
the pandemic probably got me the hardest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When it came to that, like just like that week, because again, like I told you, pay your bills, pay your taxes. Now you're going to get your paper back.
Right.
Your calendar gone. And it's different than how it usually is of like, oh, a show canceled. No. Everything gone.
Right.
So it's like the first moment where I ever felt like, oh shit, my thing is gone. You know what I'm saying? Not that I, couldn't do it anymore or something like that, but like, no, it's gone. Right. But then, go through that and you realize things that are important and things you do. Shit gonna change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whatever's terrible that's gonna happen, that's gonna happen anyway. We all gonna die. You get what I'm saying? I say that to say, have your fun the way you have your fun.
Yeah.
I love my job. I do my job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Of course you want to expand, but like you learn to appreciate the things that should be appreciated.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of that.
See, when I say like when we was joking about you sounding like an old guy, I know you've heard it before. That you have like an old soul. I've heard you hear it from people who's just seen your shows and shit. Yeah, man. But I feel like that's why, man, because that practicality and that understanding, there's like wisdom to that. And I don't think that a lot of people, by the time that they're your age, have processed those things in that way. And you're realizing those things and making a lot of these decisions at critical points in your career because you're still young enough and it's early enough where you're catching all the right moments and making the right steps at the right times based on your own judgment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the discretion to understand when to use the judgment that you heard from other people, other people's opinions and other people's collaboration. But at the end of the day, 90% of that, more than that, is you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just really dope shit, man. Really just trying to give you your flowers when I say all
appreciate
this stuff,
that. I'll accept them all. You know
There's more to come.
I get quiet when I get compliments. You know
So you've never had a job but stand-up comedy. March 2020, the world shuts down. Was there a time at like between like when all the shows stopped and then like when you did eventually get back on stage in front of people, did you think that you have to pick a different career or figure out how to make money?
So it was more the make money part because I didn't think that stand-up would be gone. I believed in the thing a little more than that. I also didn't think that the lockdown was going to only last 2 weeks. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. I got pessimistic about that shit immediately. Right? What got me more was that when it got me. You know what I'm saying? The fact that it came up, when it came up, how it came up, and what was coming up, that shit was like, you look back on and go, you needed that. Did I think I needed to change careers? No. You know what I'm saying? Because everything was like that. Nobody was working.
Yeah.
This is the very beginning of the pandemic. So whatever I felt, I was like, it's not just me. But for that first like 2 days, yeah, that was fucked up. That was fucked up because like,
comedy is not essential. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, that like hearing people say that shit on the news hurt, but like it was more of I ain't never felt helpless. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never felt that before.
Yeah.
It's always, especially doing this, it's like whatever I gotta go get, I can go get it. Yeah. So for that like first week, that was fucked.
Do you feel like the world of comedy kind of adjusted pretty quick? Because you say the first week, and I know you had other stuff going on, but I'm thinking like the whole pandemic, like around what point did people start doing these shows and start doing this Instagram live shit? Was there like a dry spell?
Like yeah, there definitely was.
Was happening?
I feel like nothing was happening.
Nothing was happening. How about your pops? Was your pops working? Like, was he anything? Because he's in a certain echelon where I feel like he could find places if there's any places.
It was a lot of like a lot of social posts he had to post, but nothing like
shit. Where he works definitely wasn't open.
Definitely not. No sets, no productions
sets were
or anything.
open. He might have did his podcast, I think.
That was
at the
another thing
time,
we did.
and he was doing stuff over Zoom. That was it.
So
was
he was doing
like
Zoom
that.
shows?
Yeah, he did like Zoom, like podcasting, but that's
I
it.
think
See,
I
I forget when Zoom. I'm sorry, I forget when Zoom popped up. But like as soon as that came up, I was on those and shit. You know?
Yeah.
And then
people
like,
was getting. They was giving out.
money?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't a part of that, but like
I
I
don't
just like this. Just
You say you don't know?
there's a lot of corporate money just
ain't like
to
that?
be.
I don't know about no money. All
It
I
wasn't
know
like
is
that.
Really?
motherfuckers
Yeah.
was on some Zoom shows.
I don't know, man. I heard a lot of people was cashing out on these Zoom shows, man.
I'm sure
a
they
lot
were.
Of a lot of schools
Well, I mean,
with
if that's
just
how
budget
stand-up
money.
was functioning, you
Yeah.
know, that's where the money was at. You know,
Yeah.
whatever you were getting for going to places,
Yeah.
you know, they would have to give you that if they wanted you. That's the only way they're going to get you.
How'd you feel about those shows? Like,
I mean, I love the thing. You know what I'm saying? I had fun in the Zoom shows. I didn't want to do them all the time. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They don't compare to live shows.
Of
But
course.
for what we were going through at the time, to be a part of the better part of somebody's day, you know, that's the point of why we do this shit. So like that was dope for me. Like you see people really in their house, miserable otherwise. You know what I'm saying? You can tell by some of the backgrounds, right?
Wow.
And it's like
Yeah.
this one thing they actually showed up for.
Yeah.
And it was so much different than the regular rhythm of
Yeah.
doing stand up. You know, and then not too long after that, the sun came out. You go outside again.
yeah,
And I think that was like the saving grace, at least for me. You know,
Yeah.
to be in front of that live audience. I was scared of COVID just like everybody else. But it's
Mhm.
like to still be able to connect, you know, that way
People, yeah.
after not being on stage after so
Mhm.
long. Because I think that was the longest, that 3 months. I had never been off for longer than a week. Once I got like the flu, I was off for 7 days. So that shit, yeah,
Yeah.
trash. Let's never do that again.
Let's
Trash.
never do that again.
Garbage.
Did you feel a little wobbly leg that first setback?
Because you gotta remember, I was on Zoom, right?
That's
So
what
I
I'm
was
trying
trying
to
out.
listen.
I was trying out the shit, and like I'll say my timing might have been a little bit off coming
Mhm.
back, but wobbly leg, nah, I was excited to do it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Watching people like not have fun while they doing it, wanting to shake these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like, man, come on. I know we outside the park, but give them something.
yeah.
Mhm.
You know, and it reminded me of how I started a little bit because like some shows didn't have microphones.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta go out there and project. And motherfuckers was
Wow.
happy to do it.
Yeah.
That's what you
know?
got.
Yeah. So at that time, yeah, all that was dope.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to be out that shit.
Yeah.
Dope.
Sure,
Hell
most of
yeah,
y'all know.
man.
Took me off tour for like 2 years. I hated that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hated that.
Yeah.
Because then you come back and you gotta try to get back into all that shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
so,
like to what Talent said, like you wasn't wobbly leg, but did you feel like you was like, you know, you had to get the rust off at all? Because it
Yeah.
got to be different, like going back, you know, just even hearing yourself do a speaker the regular way, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
going to a live show, and again, everything's like the same and different, right?
Yeah,
You going to a live show back in a place that's different than being outside in the park where a fucking, you know, train is maybe 2 blocks away.
Mhm.
right.
That's different than being in like one of those concrete amphitheaters or whatever they have in
Yeah.
some of those
Oh,
parks.
uh-huh.
Mhm.
It's completely different things. And now you got to justify the ticket price again
Yeah,
once you inside. So like
hmm
all those things matter again.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
So yeah. Wobbly leg, no, but like
You
definitely
was-
had
you
to
was
knock some
working
rust
out.
off. Yeah, of course.
Yo, find ways to work out. It's just such a critical part of what y'all do.
Yeah.
You know what Dave did too? He said when he came back from Africa, he was doing like shows in the park.
Yeah.
And shit, I feel like when he came back, get back to it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
You gonna find your way.
What you got coming up, bro?
Man, I got a couple things coming up. So I was on the thing that comes out soon. I don't know if I can say shit about it, but when it comes out, check my page, Neko White 93. That's at Neko WHITE 93 on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I'll update you on that. There's a movie coming out called Midlife. I think they're putting it out on Vimeo. So
Midlife.
you can check that out on December 23rd. I was
Nice.
just in a joint called The Crusaders. They put that out on YouTube. Check out Pete Davidson Presents The Best Friends. That's on Netflix. I'm first out. So, you know what I'm saying? Give me a look.
That sounds
Think I'm
fun.
all right.
My
You know what I'm
God.
saying?
Before
No,
Bro,
we got
we
more.
appreciate
We
you
got
sliding,
we
bro.
do.
I'm
But
gonna
before
pull
we
up all these
close the
combos, bro.
show,
Shoot.
we always ask, what's your Mount Rushmore of comedy? Of
What's my
comedians?
Mount Rushmore comedy?
So
Okay.
there's
Cat Williams.
Foreheads,
Cat Williams,
right?
Four
Cat
white
Williams.
men. on that mountain.
There's no
but-
white people on this mountain. I don't say that when they disrespect. I'm just kidding.
He's dead ass though, but
Yeah, I am, but
Yes.
like, you know, I'm
Yeah.
real.
Yeah,
Jokes
we
was
just
about
need you to
white
close
people.
the show with that. Give us
So, my top 5. Okay.
four.
Oh, top 4. Damn.
Four, bro.
only 4 heads on Rushmore, right?
Foreheads, my
Mhm.
boy.
We Googled it last time.
We did.
We could have a, you know, we
We
could
have
have
an
a
honorary.
To have an honorary head.
Nah, it's all good. So for me, it's going to be Katt, Chris Rock, Bernie Mac, Dave Chappelle. Yeah.
That's
I like
a good
that
one.
one.
That's
That's a good
That's a
one.
good list.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's
Yeah.
a good list.
I ain't gonna.
Rest in
Yeah,
peace,
that's no
Bernie
particular
Mac,
order, right?
man.
Yeah,
Doesn't have to
yeah,
be
yeah.
any particular
Yeah,
order.
those four.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a
That's
fly
fine.
list.
Honorary mention.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? He don't get a lot. He don't get a
Just
lot
throw
of
Katt
credit.
on there again.
Nah, not even. Like if this was a top 5, man, Steve Harvey mean a lot to me.
Steve
man.
Harvey?
That's a
Yeah,
good
man,
one.
Steve Harvey mean a lot to me.
I thought with Steve
Best host ever.
Harvey, the icon. The comic, not like
Yeah,
not like one of the best now.
I don't know, man.
No.
I think you sleep, man.
No, I don't know,
I think you
man.
sleep,
I'll
man.
have to run it back.
Stand up.
That's
So,
what
stand
I'm
up?
telling you. That's one of the
Top 5?
motherfuckers that like get me like
Yeah.
bend over laughing.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
I can
That's
see
Bernie
it.
Mac
I'm
for
not
me.
mad at the
Yeah.
idea of it, but I don't know.
I
It's
ain't
been
mad
so
at the
long.
idea of it.
It's just
I
been
ain't mad at
so
the
long
idea,
seeing him
yeah.
in that space, so it's like
Of course,
now he's more
yeah.
like an icon.
I've seen Kings enough. Seen
Yeah.
Kings a few times.
Kings
I
of
feel like
Comedy?
that's his best
Titanic
work.
is amazing.
To be honest with me, Kings of Comedy, it's gonna be Bernie.
Bernie, yo.
Then Seti's gonna be second to me. I don't know.
Yeah,
Say
see,
yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
agree.
it's Bernie,
I agree.
then Steve, then Cedric the D.
See,
Yeah, nah, I'm with
That
you.
Titanic joke is art, nigga.
Mm,
You can't, yo.
yeah.
Also,
I like the monkey
also,
joke.
I don't be
That
liking
monkey
what
joke's
Steve Harvey
hilarious.
say about like smoking and shit.
Yeah,
Like he be hating,
yeah,
bro.
on his Cosby
Personal,
shit.
it's
He be on his
On
personal.
his Bill
like,
Cosby
like,
shit.
come
I know what
on,
you
He
mean.
was
man.
old, man.
Hell yeah.
You gotta remember, they was damn near 50 by then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That
I'm
is
fine
wild.
with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Damn, Steve. That's a curveball to me. I wouldn't have thought that you would have thrown
To
him.
see,
yeah.
to see how, like, you know, how he hosts the show and all that stuff. How
Yeah.
think about the shit he's been.
There's
a part
definitely
of.
an art to the way he hosts that family.
Oh,
I don't think
100%.
nobody does better.
And
100%.
The way he react, you know what I'm saying?
most of the
Yeah.
shit don't even be him even using words. It
It's
just
his
be
face.
like
His
just
face expression, yeah.
Yep.
Where you got
like
Yeah.
dropping car. Just
Yeah.
And just
That was
seeing
good.
how, like, if you ever watch his stand up, to see how, like, he moves his audience.
Yeah.
Like, you can't fake killing, right? People like Bernie Mac, now you can see how people are laughing.
Right.
You go watch Steve Harvey specials. You might not consider him. Go watch his specials. Put the shit on mute and watch his audience, nigga.
now that I think
That's a
about
good
it,
way to
he
do
is
it, though.
low key like act out. Like
Like, yo, he not
No,
playing.
he's really
He's
good.
an act
I've
out
watched Steve
OG.
recently. Like I just randomly watched
and
a lot of clips.
And he talks shit in a way that I think, like, I don't know if
Yeah.
anybody else.
I might have to
talks
go
shit
into the
like that.
archives.
Yes, that's what I have to run it back.
But look, fam, I'm talking about my personal Mount Rushmore. Now,
Yeah.
if we start talking about, like, because I feel like your personal favorites
Yeah, yeah.
versus, like, the actual, like, we talking about greatest ever. I feel
Yeah,
like those
yeah.
are two different things. I
Yeah.
gave you my personal
No, for sure.
ones.
No, it's your
Definitely.
personal,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Right. But just because of where I hold you as far as esteem, you know, in the world of comedy, the fact that one of your personal,
Yeah.
you know, with Steve on that level, it's
Yeah.
interesting. I don't really hear a lot of people say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
No.
They probably don't
They
think
could
so,
be
but-
asleep. He probably ain't have his moment yet.
But
I feel
honestly,
like
he hasn't
yeah.
done stand up comedy traditionally
That's-
in
he
a while.
forgot. a little bit, and that's
and even in
okay.
his
So-
time, like I've seen a lot of
Yo,
Steve, and I think
it's more than
really
that,
good,
though,
but-
fam. Like, it's
I don't
more.
know.
Certain people just funny everywhere you put them, right?
Okay.
He's funny everywhere you put him. Again, you don't gotta like it.
Mm-hmm.
Watch that crowd.
Okay.
Even the way there's a what's that shit called? Earn Your Leisure, right?
Yeah,
Love them.
yeah. I
Doing-
saw his Earn Your Leisure. I thought it was really
Nick.
good. Yeah,
When you think about all the shit
Yeah.
that we put him through, right,
Yeah.
around that time, and
Yeah.
he was $22 million in IRS debt, and he
Yeah.
paid all that shit back
that's why I say I fuck with him as the
Goddamn.
icon.
off of.
The
Right,
icon,
like a
Steve
different-
Harvey.
But no,
Right.
that don't got
Yeah.
shit to do with being an icon. He did it off stand up.
Nah, but that says a lot
Like-
about his business acumen to me. I don't really say
Business?
nothing to me about content like
Hey,
that.
then
And
that's
I'm not
the
saying it's
thing.
not
his
reflective
daughter's
of the
an
content.
icon.
Yeah, I'm just
Right,
saying, like to
right.
me, Steve Harvey is
That's
bigger
not
than
his
his
real
stand up.
daughter.
When
I
I
feel
think
you.
This is
when I
his
think
daughter.
about when I
Yes.
think about
Isn't that
Kev and
crazy?
everything that Kev's
I
built,
feel you.
I
Yeah.
still put his stand up as a big part of that. As far as what I like
but I
How'd
about
she
it.
get the last name?
Probably more than
My
anything.
mother,
Steve,
Marjorie,
his stand up
she
ain't
said,
it for me. I like his
"Name
show
that
more than his
part."
stand up.
I feel
So
you,
nothing
right? But
like
that built
Steve.
all of that.
Nah, for sure.
Marjorie's
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's why I say the
Steve
icon.
is not that
Business.
attractive.
We're having just two separate
Yeah,
conversations.
no, I heard it.
That's
Mad
mad hilarious.
We
Somebody
talk about the
gotta
thing
have
that was
headphones
said. Then I
sometimes.
heard,
We talk
yeah,
about the thing
Steve
that was
ain't.
said.
I'm like, yo, what the fuck going on?
Yeah, what y'all doing?
I was gonna let y'all.
You gotta go to the bathroom.
Nah,
you
we
gotta
was dead
pee.
ass just talking
Hey,
about
well,
Lori
Lori
Harvey
Harvey.
and how she's not really
Oh,
his
man.
daughter.
Daughter.
Yeah.
Look, the shock.
Damn.
That's not his
She's
daughter.
like a
for real.
step
That's
kid.
his, yeah.
And Marjorie,
Hey, man,
when
that
she
ain't
married
that
him,
ain't
she
none of my
said,
I
business.
think
"Me and my
that's
baby
how
the
you
last
do it.
name."
That's how you do it.
One of my
Smart.
favorites.
So smart.
Yeah, Neko trying to get his bag right
I
now.
feel
He
that.
ain't go-
All I'm saying ain't none of my business, man.
Yeah.
Nah, I respect it.
It
On
was
that
so
note,
much fun. So
Are
much
we
fun.
done already?
I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the word, man? I think so.
Yes.
What's the time? You got the count.
We're almost at 55 minutes. It's been beautiful talking to you.
Nah, it's been great talking to y'all.
So
for
happy
real.
you came.
I'm happy y'all had me.
I like
Yes.
some parts of this better than others.
I mean,
He just don't like when we dragged him a little
I
bit.
don't like
it.
He don't like the Eminem. He don't like the
The
Nigga,
Eminem
Eminem
part.
conversation.
Yo.
Got a few
Oh,
things.
yeah.
A few things. He
Yeah.
ain't like
Here you
that.
go.
dressed like a Timberland. Mad at
This nigga, yeah.
y'all. Mad at y'all.
Even he
That's
even
all.
trying to
On
get
that
that together.
note.
for an hour. When we was outside, he
On
said he was
that
hoping I
note.
came with the zippers.
Yeah,
Because he wanted to have it ready
I
to go.
didn't say that. You
Yeah.
said this nigga told me, yeah, man, for old time's sake, I almost showed up.
I did.
I'm in tears.
This is y'all
Oh,
guy,
shit.
fam.
What it up? Hey, man.
Yes.
But
And
yo,
we're gonna
for
stick
real.
beside him.
It was a pleasure to be here. Thank
Yes.
y'all
Oh,
for
my
having
God.
me.
Thank you.
Thank you for
pulling
coming.
up
I
on
hope
us.
we can come back and have a conversation again, talk
Yeah.
about some
Yes.
other shit. In the
Yes, sir.
meantime, keep the show going, fam.
My dog, for sure,
Keep the
man.
show
Yeah.
going.
For sure. We gonna try.
Next time we come, I'm gonna only talk to y'all. And shit.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah,
I'ma
we
give
not
y'all
gonna let
a
him in.
chance.
Thank you.
I'm not
Say
gonna let him in.
shit. Are you sure you said everything?
Right. We said what we
I'm
can
taking
sure?
all the
Yes,
footage.
okay.
Okay.
Yo.
Thank you.
It was,
This
it was nice to talk to y'all directly for 5 minutes.
Yo. Yo, your Uber's
Cry.
here, bro.
Uber's
Uber's here, bro.
here.
Yo,
Give
but-
Oh,
the
my
people
God.
your socials, man.
Oh,
My
yeah.
dog.
I love you, bro.
I'll do it
can
again.
find
Yes,
me-
run it back.
Y'all can find me at Neko White 93 on Instagram. That's at NEKOWHITE93 on Instagram. Please check out my work. I promise you I'm worth your time.
Nico.
So,
Yes.
got a bunch of specials you can find. Go look those up. Thank y'all.
My
Thank
God.
you. This is the King of Comedy. We had a blast. See y'all later.